forgot what channel I was on. This is the second live stream. I was like, hey, fellow film buffs. That's the Extreme Movie Show, which if you haven't checked it out, check it out. This is, hey, fellow Mouseketeers and theme park buffs, Englentine, the homegrown tourist here. And with me, I have Dalton, the authenticator.
Yes. Hello and good evening, everyone.
And
here.
And Professor Pixel.
Howdily doodly.
Howdily doodly. You're gonna get us sued by Disney now that they own Fox and they own the Simpsons.
Yeah,
heck, man. Hi ho. Yeah.
At least I'm not doing the Mickey voice.
Hey, Goof. Yeah. No, we're not gonna be doing that. So we decided, why not? Let's do some lists. And I thought, I'm a list fan. I'm addicted, actually, to making lists. And so we figured, why don't we talk about our favorite Disney villains? I wanted to make sure, however, that we were doing different ones. So, because I think it'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, Maleficent. You know, it's just like that. So we all came up with our own list. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, Disney movies almost embody the term, it's only as good as its villain.
Yeah.
So I'm very and that's true. I mean, absolutely, when it comes to Disney movies, the weaker Disney movies have the weaker villain. And I would like to point out, yeah, Black Cauldron, not so much.
I don't know. I like the Horn King. Not enough to put him on my top 5, but I did like him.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said that, just to kind of take a little dig at the authenticator there. Hey, and howdy to Maverick. Thank you very much for joining us. Hello, Christy. How do you do? We're talking about Disney villains here. And what's your favorite? We're going to be counting down our 5. We're cutting it down to 5 because we've got 3 people over at Extreme Movie Show. We do top 10s. So, you know what? Let's just jump right on into it, and we'll talk about the movies and everything. And I'm going to share my screen so I could bring up on Google, and we'll just at least have the images going on for us. But let's start with Dalton, and we will get what is your number 5 favorite Disney villain? What is the number 5 worst of the worst to you, or best of the worst?
My number 5 is kind of an unorthodox pick, and I picked him because I don't think he gets enough credit or enough notoriety, and that is the Dark God himself, Chernabog, from the Night at Bald Mountain in Fantasia.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about it. I probably spelled that wrong.
For one thing, it's one of Disney's most straightforward adaptations of a figure from like mythology, and I enjoy their sort of take on him. They made him a little bit more demonic for the purposes of, you know, associating him with evil and everything.
Yeah,
which, you know, Disney, but he has such an interesting history and mythology, and I was thinking about this. Despite the fact that he does not say a single word, you never once question what he's thinking or what he's feeling. He's just evil, and he's here to have fun with it, and basically to be a extremely epic force of nature in his own right. And that's probably my favorite villain archetype. And like I said, he doesn't get enough play. And if you go by the all Disney movies take place in the same universe theory, there's a sincere argument to be made that he is the source of all other Disney villains. So he gets the he gets the introductory spot, I guess.
So there's a theory out there that you're saying where Chernabog is responsible for all other villains.
Yes.
I've never heard of this.
I've never heard of it either.
That is something. I'm not doubting, you know, because there's a lot of weird and crazy things on the internet, but
I need Dalton needs to find a post, and we'll go over it and
show your work. Yeah, well, not tonight, but we have to go over this one. Yeah,
I will save it for next time, or maybe the time after that. Then shall I?
Okay. Yeah.
The idea is whenever someone refers to the devil in a Disney movie, because it's not the Judeo-Christian devil,
Yeah.
and it kind of can't be because reasons,
Uh-huh.
it's Chernobog they're referring to. And given Chernobog's ancient associations with things like fairies, demons, and witchcraft, that works. And also, given that Bald Mountain is a actual geographical location with its own sort of folklore and history, it makes sense that all of the Disney villains, especially the ones associated with Germanic folklore, like the Evil Queen and to a lesser extent Maleficent, would draw their powers from him.
Englentine.
Yes, sir.
Can you scroll down a little bit?
Scroll down. Yes, sir.
Picture. A little bit more. I think that's it right there.
This?
Oh, no, you passed by. I was actually at I forget, I think it was like maybe 10 years ago. I was at Disney, and during one of the parades, they have a giant Chernobog on there. Yeah, it was just a side note because I saw the picture, but I think.
Well, I remember there was a snow globe. There was actually a snow globe parade, and they had the Chernobog. I actually owned that for a while. Gail is not the most graceful person when it comes to moving, and a lot of it, we have a lot of broken snow globes after we would move a couple of times. Yeah, but this one, it was a villain snow globe, and Chernobog was kind of looming over the other Disney villains and everything. I always thought he was striking. I don't know if I would put him on my top 5 list of villains, just because, I don't know, he almost seemed like I don't know, he looked cool, but yeah. I always thought he was kind of a force rather than an evil. Well, so who do you have?
That's one of the reasons I like him so much, because other villains are susceptible to motivations, whereas Chernobog's just like, nope, I'm here to wreak havoc, and that's my thing. That's my one MO. It's just fun. Deal with it.
Okay. Who do you have as your number 5 there, Professor?
Well, it's funny that he mentioned motivation, because that's the main thing that I looked for when I was picking the best villains. And on my top, on my 5th best villain, I have Hades. He really is one of the most devilish, because he is the Greek equivalent to the devil. Keeping a woman trapped in her soul because she saved the man she loved, then trying to kill his nephew, which another villain on my list does later, but we'll save that.
Does he succeed? Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll save it for later.
Yeah.
And he's voiced by James Woods, who, by the way, just kills it.
What?
James Woods.
I'm pretty sure it's Jeremy Irons.
No.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the other person.
Yeah. Maybe that's going to show up later, but James Woods voiced. I
realized I picked too similar of a character.
Oh, there you go. Keep going. Yeah, that's fine, man. Seriously, James Woods kills it. He's the fast talking character in this. He's almost like the comic relief. You didn't need all the comic. There was a lot of comic relief in Hercules.
There was.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, Danny DeVito, Pain and Panic, and he didn't need the clumsy sidekicks. He was his own comedy shtick right here, but it was awesome.
With how fast he could turn to anger and then just go, "I'm cool. Cool.
Yep, yeah, that was pretty badass. I like this. I like this pick. It was really good. Also, I think that Hercules is an underrated film. Tell you the truth. I've always enjoyed it. One of my favorite songs, I Won't Say I'm in Love, is from that movie. I think it gets a lot of guff that it just doesn't deserve. Now, for my number 5 pick, I'm going to go way back in time. Not as far back as Dalton went, but into the 1960s, and say Mad Mim from the Sword and the Sorcerer. Sword and the Stone. Thank you. Yes, I'm there. From the Sword and the Stone. One of my favorite scenes that I would always see in clip shows and everything was the Wizard's Duel. And I say that is one of the best scenes that had ever been animated for Disney. I've always liked it. You know, you got the animals battling back and forth as they try to outwit each other and one-upping each other. And overall, just absolutely fantabulous. I'm actually surprised that this didn't show up on your list there, Dalton.
I tried to avoid the more comedic villains and go based on just how committed to like acts of evil they were. Okay. I kind of like her because she has fun with all of her evil. Yeah, she has fun. She has fun with it. But she is as evil as she is, mostly just a comic relief villain. So she didn't make it. So here's the question: ugly Mim or sexy Mim? No, I'm actually asking ugly Mim or sexy Mim. Which one? I like the ugly Mim myself. I don't know. All right.
I mean,
I think like obviously would be more dangerous because you'd actually be more inclined to trust her. But I appreciate her. You are ever the contrarian, aren't you? Ever the contrarian. Gosh, look at you. Look at you. I'm not saying I'd pick her. I'm just saying I could see her using that as a way to be more dangerous than otherwise. Gotcha. You don't trust the decrepit hag. You trust the beautiful seductress. So, yep. Alrighty. So we have a Maverick is saying that Gaston is his 5th worst villain. That's a good pull. Gaston works, turn an entire town against the beast. And he's also saying he likes the song Zero to Hero. Zero to Hero. And agrees, yes. High five. All right. The witch from the Sword in the Stone. Awesome. So who do you have as your number 4, Dalton? My number 4, the world was such a wholesome place until Cruella de Vil. So who's your number 4? No, I'm just kidding. All right, talk a little bit about Cruella de Vil. I mean, you want to talk just into her own like effervescent evil? Like she is fabulous and she knows it, and also she goes so far as to try and kill 101 puppies. Like. On the scale of evil, even Chernobog is looking at that going, well, dang, woman. Like, oh, I will take down this. Oh, puppies. And she's like, I don't think
Chernobog is responsible for Cruella de Vil wanting to kill 101 puppies.
I will kill you all except for the puppies. Oh, actually, I've always loved the look of Cruella de Vil. I think they just nailed the design. She's this, like when she takes off the coat, when the coat falls, you see this frail body, but the coat just makes her look big and kind of just looming over everything. The black and white, it's just with the red inline. It is such a great design to her.
It is a great look.
Yeah. And of course, she's trying to kill dogs. Robzilla would be going nuts. Anyway, what else do you have to say there, Dalton? Nothing. I was just gonna share an anecdote about a former acquaintance of mine. I killing dogs. No. Okay. I was gonna make a point about just how evil Cruella is. I knew someone in college who was a diagnosed sociopath, a clinically diagnosed sociopath, and he still loved puppies. So Cruella can make diagnosed sociopaths disgusting. That is all right. All right. So who do you have as your number 4 villain there, Professor?
I have Mother Gothel from Tangled.
And I think that she is the most modern villain on any of our lists, actually.
Yep. Her motivation is mainly to live. I mean, once her flower was taken to heal the queen and the princess was born, she stole the child and raised it as her own, only so that she could have that hair to keep living forever and ever.
Okay.
Though, I don't know why she wanted to live forever.
Hey, don't you? I'm sorry, but I answer that question yes. Anytime I hear somebody who wants to live forever, I'm good. I want to at least live until I decide to die. I don't want my body to break down. I'm not ready to get old yet. There's cool things happen. They just started making good superhero movies. How can I die right now? It's just I understand that completely. Also, by the way, when in that whole debate, Frozen versus Tangled, I'm a Tangled person.
Tangled is better than Frozen. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's the immortal question, though: Did Gothel actually care about Rapunzel at all?
No, not at all.
I don't think so.
No, you can look. There's this part. There's a scene where she does the whole mother knows best, and she kisses the top of her head. But rather than like kissing the forehead, she kisses the hair because that's all she cares about. Because that hair has her power to live forever.
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing though that Rapunzel had her hair, because if not, then Gothel might have discovered that her tears also have that same power. And that movie would have gotten dark real quick, because it would have been Gothel bleeding Rapunzel for her sadness and her tears for all those years.
I also want to say it's funny that you picked Cruella de Vil when I picked Mother Gothel as number 4, because they're both built on their vanity.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, you know what? That just reminded me of somebody who's not on our list. But let's talk about who is. And my number 4 pick is the next up for modernity,
modernity,
newest, and that's the bowler hat guy from Meet the Robinsons. And I got to tell you, one of the reasons why I love this villain is because of his motivation. I understand Meet the Robinsons is not everybody's cup of tea. It's not everybody's favorite. I like this movie. I think it's fun. I think it's funny. And the bowler hat guy lost a baseball game as a child. And that's his motivation for evil. It's like one of those Spider-Man villains from Electric Company. And it just, it makes me laugh every time I think of it. We have this big Disney villain, and his motivations come from something so trivial, so small, but so relatable.
To be fair to him, that loss of that game caused a cascade failure of the worst luck in human history. So it's kind of like the evil butterfly effect. Almost.
Yeah, but come on, it's such a funny film. I know a lot of the movies in the 2000s. Some people called it the second dark era. That doesn't get the respect it deserves, and this is one of the movies. I think this one and Bolt definitely deserve more respect than they get. So
the best scene though is the one that's in the trailer when the T-Rex has the bowler hat on.
I got these little arms and this
I got a big head and these little arms.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a lot of fun, guys. Seriously. All righty, and let's see. We have the black and white hair with the coat makes her look sinister. Somebody you shouldn't trust with your pet, says Maverick. Talking about, of course, Cruella de Vil. Who do you have for your number 3, Dalton?
Dr. Facilier.
I don't even know how to spell that. Is it a F-A? Here we go. Yeah, there we are. Yay, I got it right. From the movie we talked about last week. We did a full movie commentary on Princess and the Frog. Yeah, talk about Dr. Facilier for a bit.
I like him because even though he's a fairly small-time villain in terms of his powers and things, what little he does is extremely extremely sly, and I've always found the sort of gentlemanly trickster archetype endearing, especially in the realms of like voodoo and hoodoo and those sort of folk magic traditions. So the fact that he embraces that so wholeheartedly, and his motivations are so sort of ego driven, and I subscribe to the theory that when he was talking to Lawrence about tired of living on the margins of society, he was talking about himself, and that sort of gives a lot of insight to his character. I think he got bullied or tormented as a child and found voodoo and hoodoo as a means to get back at everybody, and he sort of vowed to never go back there.
Okay.
I also like for him that he can't actually use any of his powers for himself, so he has to find a workaround.
Professor, you want to say something? Because I know he's one of your favorite as well.
Oh yeah. I love this villain. He's one of my favorites, but I couldn't put him on the list of best. It's I don't know how to describe it, because he is such a good villain, but I don't think out of all the films Disney has produced, he's the best. Which
that just goes to show how many great villains Disney's had over the years.
Yes. I also want to say, Dalton, voodoo and hoodoo and things he hasn't even tried. Is that what you mean?
Yes, and my personal headcanon is he was referring to like demonic necromancy or stuff from the Arsgosha. That's my personal headcanon for the quote things he hasn't even tried.
Alrighty, and let's see. Have I spoken up about my? Yeah, I spoke up about my number 4. We're on Dalton's number 3. What is your number 3 there, Professor?
Jafar. Jafar is just one of those villains that stick out in your mind, as he is striving for power. But his lust for power goes beyond even Hades or somebody I'll mention before, because through that he wants to become the most powerful being in the world. First it's Sultan, then it's the most powerful sorcerer, and then the genie, and how he manipulates everyone to get his way is just...
And the voice.
Oh, the voice.
And of course you're talking about the animated, not the live action one, right?
I can't even believe you mentioned that. Why would you mention that pathetic excuse?
Yeah.
It's simply a casting choice, because if you cast like Ben Kingsley as Jafar in the live action version, you would have had a much better Jafar.
Yeah, I could live with that. I think that would be awesome. Yeah, I love the look of Jafar. He's one more that his clothes make him, because when we see him out of him, that he's like this frail old man in the prison. I love this character as well. I think the voice does it though. But I also like his deliveries. And I'm sorry, one of the take away the fact that the guy had a higher voice in Aladdin. He wasn't given the line, "Oh, Prince Abubu," which was it's an iconic line. I love that. I love that line. Yeah, it's one of the better things.
I also want to say he's one of the most popular Disney villains that does not have a song of his own until sequel movies. But I'm talking about the first movie. He doesn't have a song of his own. He just changes Prince Ali.
Yeah.
Though he does get to turn the hero's song against him, which is quite an iconic moment for a Disney villain. I think he's the only one to ever do that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone here is going to argue that Aladdin is a bad movie. Well, the animated version. Anyway, now before I go to my number 3, Maverick, to catch him up, is saying that his number 4 is the priest from Hunchback in Notre Dame. Oh, his name is Corky. Go to Twitter, defend that. YouTube, as a matter of fact, make a video of it and tag me. I want to see the comment section.
No, Maverick, it's Judge Claude Frollo.
Well, but his nickname was Corky. Okay, so my number 3. My number 3 is an older one. It's a classic. It's one of the films I actually took a friend of mine when we were 17 years old to see, and my friend felt weird because it was called Cinderella, and that villain is Lady Tremaine. Yeah, a couple of 17-year-old guys. I love Disney movies. I love Disney, and I always have since I was a little kid. So I did say, come on, I'll pay for your ticket. And my friend went, and he just felt weird. He's like, yes, it's a good movie and all, but have you noticed we're the only guys here that, doesn't have their own kid? But we sat down, we watched it. I think she's an iconic villain, animated to perfection. There's one shot where like the shadows just overtakes every bit of her except for the eyes. I love that shot. She is felt throughout the movie. And you just know that nothing Cinderella can do to make herself happy is going to last, because eventually Lady Tremaine is going to take everything that she has and that she has built up. And I think that's one of the reasons I really do like this. And even when she faces the truth of what the prince wants, she doesn't want to give the prince the person that he's looking for, because it's Cinderella and not one of her own daughters. So it's just, she's pure evil. She's pure evil.
Well,
everything about her can be summed up in that famous line, I said, if, just the way she weaponizes that.
Yeah.
Because she will promise you everything you want and then take it away with some half-handed caveat.
I got to be a little bit more Johnny on the spot with these pictures if I'm going to be showing them off. Just look at this. Go on ahead, say.
I was going to say, I always have called her the evil stepmother. So most of the time, it took me a while to figure it out. But once you kept saying Lady Tremaine, I was like, I don't know who he's talking about.
But I don't remember. I mean, they went and ate spaghetti. And then there were the Siamese cats. I don't remember a Tremaine. I remember Lady, but I don't remember Lady Tremaine. Was that the family name? I don't know. Yeah,
Lady Anne Tremaine.
Yeah, Lady Tremaine is not the dog's name. It's actually the evil stepmother. Evil stepmother works. But yeah, I love the design. And yes, this is the same voice actress that does Maleficent, and as was pointed out when we were talking about all of this, Madame Leota from Haunted Mansion. Yeah, she is a true Disney hero and legend. Yeah, amazing actress. And I do like the movie Cinderella. And Cinderella is one of the only tolerable live action movies. I didn't say good. I said tolerable.
Cinderella.
Night and day, it's Cinderella. Yep. All righty. So not getting a number 3 here yet for Maverick. So why don't we go on over? Who is your number 2 favorite villain from Disney there, Dalton?
Ursula the Sea Witch from The Little Mermaid.
All righty. Well, let's hear it.
She's such an over-the-top personality, and I kind of root for her at times in Little Mermaid in a way I don't root for a lot of other villains, because let's face it, Ariel is being extremely entitled throughout the course of The Little Mermaid. I'm sorry, but she's being a 16-year-old brat, and when you have a desperate soul, there will also come a literal or metaphorical devil to feed off that, and that's just what Ursula does. I don't subscribe to the theory that she's actually royal, or that she is Triton's sister or anything like that. I just subscribe to the theory that she and her family are a family of sea witches. But the fact that her deals are so potent that not even Triton's trident could undo it, because her claim on Ariel's soul was such as it was, also points for those creepy little shrimp creature things that she turns people who've made her deals into. I mean, looking at the scene where she's introduced, how many of those creatures she has, if each one of those symbolizes a deal that she's made, she has been a very, very busy character off screen.
All righty.
Boy.
All righty. Yeah, that's a good pull.
One
And
of the definitively best villain songs.
she has the second best villain song of all time, in my opinion. Who do you have as your number 2 there, Professor Pixel?
I have Scar.
Scar.
He's voiced by Jeremy Irons.
Yes.
He's the one, like I mentioned before. He tries to kill his nephew through his flunkies, but also manages to kill his own brother. He's truly diabolical as he's planning to take over.
And he's always prepared.
Yeah. And he makes sure other people are prepared too.
He's quite insistent about it, as a matter of fact. Yeah, no, I do think he's got a great villain song as well. And
the look of him too. Like, as for how the other lions look, they designed him very uniquely to stand out as what kind of lion he is, how evil is just in the main.
Yep. Yeah. All righty. And what about you? Do you have anything to say about Scar? Dalton?
Yeah, Scar's awesome. I just didn't think of him as top 5 material.
Okay.
He definitely gets points for how flamboyant he is and how much he just loves being evil. And of course the way he goes out too is another great comeuppance related death.
I mean,
in Disneydom.
I mean, he is a villain that won. Eventually he gets taken down, but he did win. He took over.
Okay. All righty. Now mine is a bit of an obscure one. Actually, a lot of mine have been obscure. But this is at the end of the very first dark period from the 70s to 80s, right before the Renaissance with Little Mermaid. There was a movie called The Great Mouse Detective, and voiced by Vincent Price, we've got one of the greatest Disney villains in a rat called Ratigan, who actually didn't like to be called Ratigan or a rat. And that's why I love the fact that towards the end, he just kind of shed his suit and everything, and he got all ratted up, and it was awesome. This is an amazing movie. I love this film. It's one of the most underrated movies of Disney's history. Now, I've seen a lot of movies take the plot from The Great Mouse Detective, where somebody's trying to kill the queen and they have to stop it, and that was one of the plans that Ratigan had, and Basil had to stop. The Great Mouse Detective had to stop it. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, there's a comedic sidekick that he's got, but it's not overused. That's the bat right here. In every way, shape, or form, it's a superior villain voiced by a superior actor, and that is Vincent Price, and I stand by this choice. What do you guys think?
I like Ratigan, but he's not in my top 10, which just goes to show how many great
Blasphemer
there are.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's a lot of fun. Plus, yeah, like I said, I love this film. Absolutely love this movie. All righty. Oh, yes. We should do a comment on it when the Disney streaming service is up and we can have access to everything. Maverick saying, fun fact, Scar shows up as a rug in Hercules on Hercules' back. Yep. Yes, he does. I like those little additions and such like that. In Beauty and the Beast, or in Aladdin, they're playing with a little Beauty and the Beast figure. The Sultan is. So yeah, you get to see certain things if you keep an eye out. And of course, Pixar always advertises the next movie somewhere in their movies. Alrighty, so why don't you do me a favor there, Dalton, and why don't you give us your 5 through 2 before we go on?
All right. My number 5 was Chernobog from The Night at Bald Mountain in Fantasia. My number 4 was Cruella de Vil. My number 3 was Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog. My number 2 was Ursula, the Sea Witch from The Little Mermaid.
And your number 1 villain?
The mistress of all evil herself, Maleficent. I mean, what even needs to be said about Maleficent? She is the quintessential evil sorceress of the Disney canon. She's one of the only villains to straight up invoke the powers of hell. And that was in like the 1940s when that was a massive taboo. She does everything she does in the movie just because she got slighted an invitation to a birthday. So God only knows what she would have done if she had actually had a legitimate villainous motivation to do the thing she does. And the only way that she gets defeated is basically by Merryweather having to forego whatever gift she was originally going to give Aurora. So, and there's some debate as to whether she actually survived at the end of the movie, because if you actually look at the Sword of Truth in her when she gets hit with it, it doesn't appear to go deep enough to actually wound her significantly.
Okay, that's something to look out for the next time you see it, but that's a good list. That's a good list. All right, let's recap your 5 through 2 before you give us your number 1 there, Professor.
All right. My 5th one was Hades. 4 was Mother Gothel. 3 was Jafar. 2 was Scar. And my number 1 is Judge Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
All righty. Now, this is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated films because of the gargoyles. Go ahead.
I love the gargoyles.
Okay.
What you were saying earlier about feeling what's her name? Lady Tremaine's presence throughout the movie. The same thing can be said for Judge Frollo here. He is just I think the worst part is that he feels so human. A lot of these movies feel so fantastical. But this movie is, you just get that human feeling, and he's just unnecessarily cruel.
We all know a Frollo, basically, is what you're
I am a Frollo.
Getting at.
Well, it's also he's one of the most adult. His motivations is desire and lust. He not feeling comfortable with the desire and lust he feels for Esmeralda. And yes, I think that he has the greatest villain song in all of Disney history.
Hellfire.
Hellfire. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I also just love the soundtrack. Out There is amazing. Just great stuff. Great stuff.
We should do a watch through of it.
Yeah. Twist My Arm. We'll have my daughter on that, because that's her favorite Disney movie of all time as well. So that's a good call. That's a good call. Moving on. Let's see. Do we have anything? I crack up every time gargoyles show up. So, okay. So apparently the gargoyles are more loved than I've been giving them credit. All righty. Yeah. So my number 5 was Mad Mim from Sword in the Stone. Goop, or the bowler hat guy from Meet the Robinsons, Lady Tremaine from Cinderella, Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective, and my number 1 Disney villain would have to be, whoops, I misspelled it. Yzma. I spelled it wrong anyway. Yzma from one of my favorite movies of Disney's of all time, and that is The Emperor's New Groove. I love this team. I love the team of Kronk and Yzma. I love Yzma as a villain. Is that my voice? I mean, the whole thing is just, she's fun. She's funny. She's evil as heck. But she's so localized. I mean, like, Maleficent is this big, broad evil, and Yzma is just an evil broad. And all she wants to do for some reason is get revenge on the emperor. Not that she's going to take the seat. It's not like if she kills him, she becomes emperor. She just doesn't like the guy and wants him dead because she got fired and she doesn't want to be fired. So whatever emperor comes after him, she still has her job. It is so weird, her motivations in this. And she has one of my favorite Disney lines in any Disney movie. When she says to the children, "Let us out and we'll kill you." And of course, Kronk's like, I think you mean or Yzma. Just absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. Funny as all.
The talking llama is, and we'll burn your house to the ground. Tell us what the talking llama is, or we'll burn your house to the ground.
Yes. It's just such a fun villain. Absolutely. And this, she was voiced by Eartha Kitt of all people. I mean, absolutely.
Catwoman.
Yeah, a former Catwoman, and the singer of Santa Baby, the good version, not the Madonna version. So there you go. That absolute Emperor's New Groove is so awesome. It is, isn't it? And that was put out during what people call the dark period. Come on.
Incidentally, that wasn't the first concept for Emperor's New Groove. It was originally supposed to be a movie called Kingdom of the Sun. And Yzma's backstory was that she wanted to use magic to return her youth. That's one of the reasons why she's so, to quote Kuzco, scary beyond all reason, because the original pitch for the character was she was feeling resentful because she had aged.
So
she
she's Mother Goth.
Originally have a villain song, and you can still find it on YouTube if you look for it. It's called "Snuff Out the Light."
Okay, and she's Mother Goth before Mother Goth, is the professor was about to say. So there you go. That is an awesome selection of Disney villains. But there you go. I guess we're going to close out here because we've been doing this for almost about an hour here. If you guys have a pick, put it down in the comments below. And as always, we are looking for someone to join our team here, preferably female. We need a female voice on this, I think. I think it would be quite awesome.
Three dudes talking about Disney.
Three dudes talking about Disney. That's got to be the show's name now. Three dudes talking about Disney. But yeah, by all means, let us know who your favorite villain is, and anybody who picks that guy from Home on the Range. I'm sorry, but you lose. Yeah, we'll take it. But yeah, okay.
Are you saying that Roseanne Barr isn't the villain of Home on the Range?
They're real. That was an actual line. They show the udder. They show the udder, and her line is, "Yeah, they're real." Oy vey, that actually happened in a Disney movie. Anyway, guys, say again.
Sorry, I was just laughing still.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much, Maverick, to help out the conversation, and Christy as well. And to everyone watching, thank you very, very much for watching, and see you real soon.
So long.
Cheers, guys.
KEY. Why? Because we like you. MOUSE.